Hey everyone, welcome to this show. And they say the purpose of your life is to discover the purpose of your life. And when you find that, to pursue it relentlessly. So let me introduce you to Maniti Modi. Hi Maniti, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Maniti, tell me, at first you went from school, you went to UCL London to pursue biomedical.
Yeah.
So would you share something about that with us?
Sure. Biology was my favorite subject through the IGCSE and IB, and there was not so much information available. So I just randomly Googled courses in the UK. I knew my parents didn't want to send me to America at that point, and I saw this course called Biomedical Science.
Right.
It was offered at all the top universities in the UK. So I think after about 2 nights of research, I decided, okay, this is what I want to study. The courses were very, very interesting.
Okay.
But it was very in-depth knowledge. I didn't realize that it would be so in-depth when I started studying it. In my second year, I realized that it's you have to be really passionate for this, and you kind of need to know what you want to do.
Sure. So tell me, if there is a student looking towards this program at UCL or at any other college in the UK, what would you want to say to them?
Basically, there are 2 career options by pursuing biomedical science.
Right,
One
right.
is research, if you want to get into doing a PhD and pursuing research, and if you're that type of person. And the second thing is, if you want to be a doctor, it's kind of like pre-med in the US. And I think if you do biomedical science in the UK, which is a 3-year course, you can do medicine as a graduate course, which is only 4 years then. So it'll take you 7 years to become a doctor.
Okay.
And otherwise it takes you 6 years. So it's not that, it's a good option if you're confused when you're 18. So.
And then from UCL, you moved on to Imperial College, and you did a master's there.
Yeah, that's right. So I did my master's in Imperial College Business School, and I did it in management. I think somewhere along my program at UCL, I realized I don't want to pursue research. So I thought this would be a fabulous program to get into. Imperial's a wonderful
Absolutely.
institute,
Yeah.
and I really liked the faculty, the way it was taught, the campus and everything.
So this is MSc in management?
Yeah, that's right.
And it was a 1-year program.
Yeah, it was a 1-year program. So actually there was a prerequisite for this, to apply for this program, that you had to have no prior formal education in business.
No prior.
No. So
Okay.
everyone in my class was either a science student, an engineer, or a few people had studied economics.
Okay.
But basically it was people who had not actually studied business management at all. It was a very well designed and very well structured course to give me that introduction to business management.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. So it gives our viewers, in fact, this 1-year program where you can sort of start
Yeah,
the
I guess
process
it's kind of like
studying.
a mini MBA in some sort, or
Get your feet wet.
Yeah, exactly.
So you decided to set up this really exciting company called Connect4?
Yeah, that's right. So Connect4 is a platform which basically connects volunteers to NGOs, and it brings a lot of structure to the social and development sector of India. This was something I never imagined I would do in my life, but the whole prospect of working in the development sector in India, which is growing so rapidly, which needs a lot of I think talent to come back and start working in the sector. I think that was exciting, and the whole idea of a startup and getting the entrepreneurial skills, which I don't think any degree or any college experience can teach you. I thought that was this was the perfect platform for me.
Tell us, how does this work? How does your organization work?
Okay, so we, I'd like to describe ourselves as the matchmakers in a sense.
Okay.
So we basically try and understand the skill profile and the causes our volunteers care about, and then we match them to organization or particular volunteering opportunities. We already have about 30 NGOs from Bombay on board. We speak to them regularly. They're kind of like our partners in a sense. And we listed down volunteering opportunity. It's defined on the basis of time commitment required by the volunteer, what are the final outcomes or deliverables of the volunteer needs to give the NGO, and what cause area does it fall under. Is it skill based, or is it just coming and hanging out with the beneficiaries, teaching, or designing a poster for the NGO, whatever it is, we break it down into small volunteering opportunities, and we very clearly define them. So that's our role. We have 9 course verticals on our platform. So the whole aim is to if anyone wants to volunteer, they can just come on this platform and find something for themselves. Once they do, they just need to click one button which says showing interest in that opportunity, and then we connect them or match them to that NGO. So
Okay.
basically that's why we call ourselves matchmakers.
Yeah, absolutely. I find this incredibly exciting because I'm sure a lot of our viewers could be either students looking for volunteering opportunity, or I'm thinking moms looking for something to do after the student goes away.
I mean, that's
Is that something?
Yeah, that's actually where our whole idea kind of came from at one point, because we were IB students and we realized that we used to go for 2 hours every day, every week to, an NGO, and we didn't really add value. Our tagline in a sense is win-win for a cause, because we wanted to be a situation where you gain from the experience as well as the NGO. For example, we've had students do research reports for NGOs, and they can say, I did a research report. We've had them, do photo stories for NGOs. So they have something for their portfolios and things like that. As well as stay-at-home moms. You have the flexibility to choose what time you want to work, find something based on your convenience, and at the end of the day you are doing good for society, and you'll be able to know the value that you're adding through this platform. Essentially trying to get to one-click volunteering in that sense.
But sounds awesome. So, whenever they're at a loose end, on a vacation or a few hours a week, etc. But tell me, is it largely Bombay based right now?
So the website only went live in December of 2015. So right now it's only in Bombay, but we want to organically grow into other cities of India.
In fact, I know a lot of my viewers who don't live in India but are very excited at the prospect of volunteering in India.
That's one thing we're really looking at as well, looking at programs which are more long term, 3 months or 4 months during summer holidays abroad, where people do want to come to India, volunteer. So we have these things called remote volunteering opportunities. So we had someone from New York actually design posters for this NGO.
Okay, trying to do a startup in the social space in India after coming back from UK. What were the kinds of challenges you faced there?
So one was, I think, not having enough networks in India. I've never worked in the social space before, so trying to find NGOs, trying to find a point of contact in each of these NGOs. But even in tapping into colleges in India, I never went to college in Bombay, so I don't know how do they do community service? How can we reach out to them in that sense? And the second challenge was, I think, adjusting to the work culture in India. People don't reply to emails, you have to keep calling them up, just the work culture. Work doesn't actually start in Bombay until 11 a.m. even though work time is 9 o'clock, so you don't get done until 7, 8, 9 o'clock.
So tell me, if there was one thing about yourself you found that had changed after you did the startup, what would that have been?
I think definitely one is my confidence levels. I would be pretty scared to give presentations or talk, or even in consulting I was only making the presentations. I never actually went and gave any. But now I do everything from making the presentations to delivering them to finding potential partners and everything. So I think that's made me a lot more confident. Another thing is that it's made me more of a risk taker in a sense. I used to take very calculated risks before, but I think now I'm okay, at the end of all of this, I know I've learned a lot and my learning's been exponential. So I have something to take away from it, so I should definitely give it my all.
Super. So tell me, what are the future plans you have with Connect 4 right now?
So one of the things we want to do is, besides making volunteering fun, easy and structured, is basically remove that whole sad vibe that you have associated with volunteering and NGOs in India. So we're looking at implementing things like a fantasy league. So if a whole class or a whole IB class signs up with Connect 4 to volunteer, they can compete with their friends on how many hours they've done, how much money they've saved, give out gifts at the end of every 100 hours of volunteering completed, and just things like that.
I think it's a great opportunity. Go look it up. I'll probably look it up too.
Thank you.
So Maniti, looking at the UK piece, jobs, internships for international passport holders in the UK, how easy is that?
Not easy at all. To put it very simply, if you're looking for a job after college and you want to settle down in the country that you're studying, UK is probably not the best country to go to. There are very few international students that I know of that actually got jobs there. Internships even fewer. After doing a master's degree, it's a little easier, I think, but with just an undergrad degree, I think it's quite difficult to get a job in the UK.
Okay, so looking at somebody going there, studying and sort of spending all that and coming back to India, how would you suggest to a student? Do you think it's worth going abroad and studying?
So, I mean, if I had to give like a one-word answer, I'd say no.
Okay.
But I mean, because it is very difficult to get a job, and I understand in terms of like return on your investment and all of that, it's not it's not the best option. But I mean, in terms of skill development, growing as a person, getting that exposure, those 18 to 22, I think are the best years to not live with your parents, go out and that kind of exposure, which I think that you can only get by going abroad to study.
Right.
So in that sense, I wouldn't have changed anything about my experience.
Right. And for a student coming back to India, let's say looking for a job in India, is there any advantage or disadvantage versus an Indian student?
Disadvantage is that you don't have access to the big companies that Indian students do, because they do college or on-campus recruitment. So it's very like there's no info kids who studied abroad to, how do you interview with them and all of that in that sense. So unless you have a contact or someone working there who can send your CV and things like that, it's very difficult to apply for jobs in India once you're back. But having said that, if you manage to get to the interview stage, I think you are at a much higher advantage than someone who's studied here, because I think even they recognize the fact that in terms of soft skill development, like your communication skills and things are, better or more polished. In my opinion, you're more likely to get the job then, and I think companies have now started recognizing that.
Thank you so much, Maniti,
You're
for
welcome.
sharing that
Thank
with
you
us.
so
I
much.
think it's been super talking to you.
Yeah.
Our viewers have got something from it. We've learned a lot. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you so much.
Please click the subscribe button below. Like me at facebook.com/chetchat101. Follow my Twitter handle, chetchat101, or at Instagram, chetchat101. Please leave your comments in the sections below. And if you'd like me to feature any particular college, please let me know. Thank you.